They say a perfect crime leaves no trace.
But every killer leaves a story written in the details.
Welcome to Evidence and Elegance. I'm Rachel.
I'm Sam. We're sisters, total true crime obsessives, and your guides through the dark.
We created this channel because we got tired of sensational headlines and rushed summaries. True stories deserve a real breakdown.
We're stepping past the rumors to look at the hard forensics, the digital paper trails, and the legal strategies that solve cases.
Expect deep investigations, opinions for days, and zero filters from us.
And plenty of overthinking. Think of it as late night true crime deep dives with your sister.
So grab your favorite drink, buckle all the way up, and let's examine the evidence all together.
Hit that subscribe button and welcome to the circle. Let's break it down.
From a single trace of evidence found within the silent remnants, building narratives from testimony, searching for that one true clarity. Every exhibit admissible and weighed for the foundation of the case we've made. We bridge the gap with studied elegance. This is Evidence and Elegance.
In this video, we will be talking about Linsday Clancy. We're going to look at whether she is a cold-blooded murderer who planned the tragedy, or a good mom who was failed by the medical system in every way. We're going to talk about some aspects of the trial, the way that the prosecution or the Commonwealth is handling things, and give our opinions on how we think it's going. So stay tuned and buckle up, all the way up. That is the case of Linsday Clancy. So we're going to go over, we're not going to get into like major graphic detail because that's not appropriate or relevant to what we're going to talk about. But I mean, there are going to be some things. So first and foremost, make sure you are taking care of your mental health with stuff like this. It definitely kind of hits in different places, different ways, different people. So just make sure that, with a case like this that we're going to be discussing, that you have, your mental health in check and in place for it. In this case, above all, that is incredibly important. Hey, Dutchie. So if you haven't heard about this case, let me know. It's a lot of places. There are a lot of opinions happening around this. And a lot of, I think, TikTok conspiracies that are going on. I have watched the trial, and the trial in itself. It's very sad. It's a very sad case. And watching what is happening in the case is even more sad. So I'm going to just give it a couple more minutes here. Sam is probably going to jump on, and we will get started. So if you've heard about the case, I want to welcome everybody's opinion. I'm here for it. I'm here for the discussion. What I want to stay away from, disagreeing is healthy. Conversations are healthy. What I want to stay away from is the accusations, and if we're going to disagree, we can respectfully disagree, right? So those are very important. So we will get into it. Sam will join when she can. But we are going to be talking about a case that has captured attention. It centers around mental health for sure. It centers around the I say we very loosely, the not guilty by reason of insanity. I don't know that that's how
Massachusetts describes it. I think it's guilty but not responsible. It's the case of Linsday Clancy. It's her court case. So that is what we are going to be going through today. So buckle all the way up for this one. So we will start here. Linsday married Patrick. Let's see if I can get a date on that. They got married in December 2016. They had their first baby, Cora, December 24th, so she was Christmas baby, of 2017. They had their son, Dawson, December 30th of 2019. And then they had Callan, which is their third baby, and I believe he was May 26th of 2022. So they were very close together. So I guess if you haven't heard about this case, we're just going to go ahead and get it out of the way. Linsday, on January 24th of 2023, is accused of taking the lives of her 3 children. Cora was 5, Dawson was 3, and Callan was 8 months old. So I didn't go into this case. I mean, we're not going to get into the gory details of this case. It's not necessary. Like I said, there are going to be some things that are talked about. So, like I said, take care of your mental health. Make sure you're in a good place to, watch and recap this. So, like I said, January 24th, that happened. She did strangle the children, and they're with exercise bands. So, that being said, we're not going to go into that any deeper. The not guilty by reason of insanity, right? I don't love that because I think it's taking, a lot of people use it. And I'm not one that buys into it. I'm not one that buys into the whole NGI, please. So many people abuse it. So many people use it. When I hear it, instant eye roll. Instant like, okay, you can't blame mental health for everything wrong. I think people have to be mentally ill to do the things that, they're going to trial for, but there's a difference between, I'm playing with this, sorry. There's a difference between being mentally ill and, having a moment of psychosis like that, or, it's more than just being mentally ill. It's more being like, oh, she look crazy. It's more than that. So, a little bit of background on Linsday. She was a labor and delivery nurse. She worked at Massachusetts General Hospital, and she struggled a lot with, postpartum blues, postpartum depression, and eventually they are saying postpartum psychosis. So in September of 2022, this is after she has Callan. After she had Callan, they had taken the summer, both her and Patrick, to spend time together. There was, he had paternity leave, she had maternity leave, and then they extended it and just took time. So in September of 2022, she was getting ready to return to work. Now, she had mental health struggles prior, every time that she had to return to work, because it was said that she was such a good mom, and she struggled to take time away from her kids. Especially when they were babies. So when they're babies, she's struggling. So as September of 2022 comes around, she is starting to think, okay, I've got a month and I've got to go back to work, causing all of these feelings and all of this frustration and anxiety and then depression. So we're approaching that. So she begins psychiatric treatment. And she has 2 different doctors, and their names are out there. It's a Jennifer Tufts and nurse practitioner Rebecca Gelada. So she's prescribed multiple medications. Now, one thing that I struggle with this case, she was a nurse. Yes, she's a nurse. However, being a nurse does not mean you know everything there is to know about all the medications. It appears to me that she would do some research. She would look something up, right? And she'd be like, oh, maybe that'll help. Maybe that will help. You're not knowing what is actually wrong because nobody actually diagnosed her with anything. And these doctors or these nurses and these nurse practitioners and stuff, they have testified. Yeah, I mean, Dutchie is a nurse, and she said you don't. You also don't diagnose yourself. So even if she had an idea of what was happening, that doesn't mean she knew what was going on. And it certainly doesn't mean that she knows what the right treatment is. I was watching someone else, and he said that's like hiring a financial advisor and asking about stocks. And that stock, you're like, well, what stocks should I invest in? And they're like, oh, whatever you want. Well, what am I paying you for? Just because she's a nurse doesn't mean that she didn't deserve the correct treatment, as if she didn't have, the knowledge that she had. So with these 2 doctors, and they knew about each other, she was prescribed multiple medications for anxiety, insomnia, depression. Some of those medications, there was 13 to 15, but some of them were Zoloft, Prozac, Valium, Ativan, Klonopin, Seroquel, Trazodone, for the multitude of symptoms that she was expressing that she was feeling. Now, she was reporting anxiety, intrusive thoughts, disorientation. She was having panic attacks. She did participate in therapy, some therapy. She had emergency treatment. She also had a stay, and it was at a women's and infants hospital. And then she had a stay in the McLean hospital. She was having insomnia. Oh, Sam's joined. Let's go. Let's get her in. She had insomnia. She had suicidal ideation, intrusive thoughts, and she even reported...
Before I turn this camera on, I am putting a headboard together, and I look like shit, and I don't want to hear it because I don't care.
No one cares.
I'm just saying, not one word.
Not one word.
So I don't know how to turn. Okay.
Now I don't know how to turn it on.
Also, I didn't today or yesterday or the day before.
We were just talking about Dutchie says word.
All I know is I don't like the prosecution.
We were just talking about the hospital stay. We just got to her symptoms and the actually saying that she was concerned.
Look how skinny my face looks. It's not, but it looks that way from this angle.
Okay.
Anyway.
She was also had actually said that she had thoughts of harming her children. So now, with that being said, and also it's important to note that the medications that were being distributed, they were putting her on, taking her off, duplicating, adding, taking her off, adding one before they weren't weaning her off of medicine.
No, they weren't even making sure they were working or not working.
No, there was no time to decide, is this the medicine you should be on? Or we taper off of this and then go on something different. So it seemed like a mess. So one of the things that stood out to me with these doctors' testimony is the fact that she was saying this doctor was saying, or nurse practitioner was saying, I thought she could be bipolar, and I had thoughts that maybe she was bipolar, but I put her on this medication anyway, just to see. Okay, well, if you know that's a bad combo, just because she's a nurse, and that's what the theme I think was, just because she's a nurse doesn't mean that she's going to, number one, if it does put her in a manic state, how is she going to handle that? Being a nurse doesn't mean you're immune or impenetrable to all these things, or that you know how to handle any of them. So it's the way that this was handled as far as that goes was pretty astonishing to me. I was pretty...
Oh, this angle's a good one, too.
I was pretty taken aback by how they treated it. And actually, there is some civil lawsuits now with her husband and even her family against these. I think the biggest one is with McLean, but against these hospitals because of the treatment and because of the way that they didn't take care of her. She was turned away. She called the suicide hotline twice. And because, so I also struggle with, she didn't have a plan. So they didn't take her, not that they didn't take her seriously, but they wouldn't do anything. There's no plan, so she's fine. My struggle with that is, there's not a plan until there is. And maybe that until there is right after you get off the phone. Or, she's reaching out for a reason. This is a woman who, she's not a dumb woman. She's begging for help. And it just seems like nobody would take her.
Everybody said she's like this loving mother, even the people who are grieving these kids.
Yes. The husband and all of the... Sorry, I can't barely hear you.
It's wild to me that there was, you have the mother-in-law or the ex-mother-in-law or whatever, her family's going to say, but you have people that wouldn't be saying it if it wasn't true.
Right.
Like, despite what everyone thinks, the husband or ex-husband, and then, the mother-in-law.
Right.
I heard that was crazy.
Yeah, they are all... Oh, yeah, we'll get to that.
There's a see you next Tuesday.
We will get to that.
Or whatever you call them. Common, whatever the fuck.
So,
ignorant.
The one that children and family mental health day lasted 1 day because they said she wasn't a good candidate for the program because she's over-medicated.
She's not even being taken off of one.
No. And one of these things that like the prosecution brings up is, oh, well, we have this bottle here that's only got 7 pills out of it. And then we've got all these pills here that have this out of it. And the husband, Patrick, says, well, yeah, but, and then they don't let him finish.
Yeah.
And then the defense comes up and says, why is it that this is? And it's like, well, he says, well, if you have to put it in context because she's got this prescription. They increased it or decreased it or whatever. So she may not have finished this bottle before taking this bottle. And then that's why there's stuff
around with it.
Right.
And she's a nurse, so it's not like she was playing around,
Right. And she, to me, she was really worried about being addicted to medicine. Yeah. Is what it sounds like. Because she was
worried about what she put in and out of her body.
Right. So when she was worried about that, she would say, I'm worried about, becoming addicted to this. Mm-hmm. And then instead of telling her, like for the lorazepam, instead of, they just changed the med. Yeah. I've never heard of such a thing. Or she was worried about the Seroquel because it made her feel terrible. Yeah. They doubled the dose.
Right. Remember my doctor did that.
Yeah. It's like, I don't understand how we're making decisions.
That'll help it. I'm like, no, I'm losing my mind, actually. That's not going to help it.
And that's what she said. It makes me feel I can't function. And she even at one point, and I don't know exactly at what point this was, but said, it was to her mother-in-law, said, it's got to be the meds. This isn't me. So there's documented conversations with her and her family and her husband where she is begging for help, is saying, I don't know what to do. I've never felt like this before.
I think that honestly, by what the prosecution has put on is only proving her case. It's like
I think so too.
it's just proving. And I'm not even on these people's sides normally. Like, but I do think that she needs help, and I don't think she should be. I think that she shouldn't be somebody rotting in prison. She should be in a hospital forever.
Right, and I think there's that if guilty by reason of insanity, they're going to walk free. No, this woman, listen, we'll get to why we think the way that we do, but she's not just going to walk free. Well, she's not going to walk at all, honestly.
Right.
I mean, but she's not going just to go free. I mean, I'm saying, like, this woman
terrible.
is not.
That was
gonna,
awful.
Well, I mean, because we haven't gotten to that yet. So, after she did what she did,
her fake suicide attempt, she's not going to be able to walk.
Yeah, I know, it's crazy.
Wild.
But after she did what she did to her children, she went up to the window and jumped out, like dove out the window. She is paralyzed.
Forever.
She coded. This wasn't
Not a game.
So the prosecution is saying that she's calculated in what she did. She planned this. She faked her attempt. And it's like,
No,
I mean, I look at her and it's like, she doesn't look like she was faking. She looked like she meant it. She looks like she really did mean it. So the morning of January 24th of 2023, that's the day that this all took place. She took Cora to a doctor's appointment. She took Cora to her appointment. They played in the snow. It must have snowed in Massachusetts that day. She played in the snow with Cora and Dawson. Callan took a nap. Her husband, because this was such an ongoing thing with her mental health, actually worked from home. He worked.
Oh yeah, he changed so he could be home.
Yes.
Because she needed him.
Right. She needed him to be there. And because she didn't want to be alone. That was one of the things, I mean, pretty consistent throughout. She didn't want to be alone. So at 4:02 to 4:47, Lindsay's online searching for medication for kids, Miralax, which ties into the appointment in the morning because Cora didn't like to use the bathroom at school.
Yeah.
So they had to, she was causing herself issues because she didn't. So the kids Miralax. She looks up restaurant takeout. She calls for the take. What is it? V3, I think, is the takeout place. And she called CVS to make sure they had the Miralax. So far, I'm not seeing anything that's terribly, out of the ordinary. Which also
because she wouldn't have called. Why would she cared if they had it or not?
Right.
That would have taken him longer.
Right. And they want to make this whole big thing about, she looked up VP or V3, whatever that restaurant is. She looked that up so that she knew exactly how long he was going to be gone from the house. Okay, it's a stretch because when I do takeout, I look up where I'm going.
Yeah, because you don't want it to suck.
I mean, that's, to me, is not such. It's not the hot take that they want it to be.
I don't think any of this is. People are not happy with her.
No. The prosecution. The Commonwealth of Massachusetts.
That's right. I keep forgetting what they're actually called. But...
Oh, I can't with them. We'll get to them. So at 5:33 to 5:54, Patrick is on surveillance, getting medicine, and then picking up the takeout order. 6:09, Patrick returns home. House is quiet. He discovers Lindsay first, and then at 6:11 discovers the children.
Yeah.
So with that, Legal proceedings begin January 25 of 2023 with the arrest warrant issued for Linsday Clancy on the 2 counts because little Callan had not succumbed to his injuries at that point. That was January 27th that they
Didn't
upped
die?
it to
I thought
3
they all
counts.
died
They did.
eventually.
Callan was had no brain activity, but his body was working after being taken. He regained breath, I guess, or his heart was working, but his brain was not.
And then ultimately just passed away from his injuries.
Right. 2 days later. So the arrest, the criminal proceedings, February 6th of 2023, Linsday contacts Patrick saying that she was hearing voices and experienced a psychotic episode. That voice told her that she needed to do what she did to the children and to herself, and that she wouldn't have time or there would be no opportunities, and she had to do it. I'm not sure. We haven't heard any testimony other than that. I don't know if there will be more. I assume there will be. We just started the defense's case, so we'll have to see what happens there. But February 7th, Linsday enters a plea of not guilty, and then we are in the trial.
How long ago did this happen?
This was January 24th of 2023, I believe.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. A little over 3 years ago, 3.5 years ago.
It takes so long to get to.
So we start with opening statements. Every trial obviously starts with opening statements. And the Commonwealth.
But first of all, she pled not guilty by reason of mental disease and defect. So she's not disputing that this happened.
Oh, yes. Thank you for bringing that up. She actually didn't want to have a trial where they drug all the nasty, disgusting, stuff through the case. And I know some people are like, well, she should have to sit there and listen to it. I get it. She
remembers that.
Yeah, she remembers what she did. And there was a motion for them to just stipulate to the facts of the case. And the Commonwealth said, no, we're going to present all the facts in the case.
Yeah, because she's a bitch bag.
Oh. Okay. I don't know. I mean, I'm not sure what I say prosecution, what the Commonwealth, what they're trying to do. I'm not sure what.
All they're doing is doing what the defense is supposed to be doing.
Yeah. It's hard because, in this case, they have no burden of proof. The defense doesn't have to do anything. So when you get to a certain point and it's the Commonwealth who, really hasn't proven their case, the defense doesn't have a burden. But in this type of case, they almost have to prove that she was, did have a psychosis or a mental break. Which isn't, it's not fair, but that's where we live. So there's 18 jurors in the case.
Didn't have
I can't barely hear you. I don't know if.
I think it's pretty stupid to assume that she didn't have it. I think that the people that they put on the stand before the prosecution even started has proven that.
Yeah.
And also, I hate her. She should not have killed her kids. So I'm not on her side for no fucking reason. I don't like her. I don't like people who kill their kids, but.
Well, and that's just it. When I started watching this or listening to it, and I hadn't even heard about it until we kind of got into the 12th or 13th day of trial. And I'm immediately like, well, somebody's responsible for those babies. Somebody's responsible. Somebody is. And I'm like, I mean, she did the actions and she did, the motions. She's responsible to the extent that the law is going to hold her responsible. But I feel like there's a whole lot more people that should be on trial for these babies.
Yeah, the doctors.
Yeah, the doctors. I mean, we can dispute the family all we want to, but at the end of the day, I don't think there was any malicious intent or any. Is that Bulgar?
Okay. Okay. So it's a boy. Are you the handsomest one?
Bulgar.
Anyway, I had to show you him because he was staring.
Oh. I don't think there was any malicious intent when it came to the family. I don't think there was anything intentional there. I did start writing stuff down when I was listening to it until they kept going over the same thing over and over and over again. They went over it with Patrick. They went over it with the CVS pharmacy person. They went over it with the 3V employee. They went over it with all the doctors, every police officer, every person at the scene.
Can I help you?
What?
Nothing.
5 people testified about the same thing.
How many
5
people testified in total for the prosecution?
I think I heard 70-ish, but I don't know the exact number. But that's everybody there. And the defense was objecting because it's just 403B material. It is just repetitive testimony. And the repetitive testimony is exhausting. And you're losing the jurors in that sense because they've heard it. They don't need it that many times. So then when you get to the doctors and the autopsy, after hearing so many times about what happened, and of course we haven't gotten to the defense's argument yet, but I'm already leaning to, there's a lot of people that did a lot of wrong things here. The facts aren't in dispute. Linsday has a breakdown in the middle of trial while they're talking about the autopsies of the kids. And it is it's a genuine breakdown. She is destroyed and sorrowed. Very sorry. I don't even know how to explain it. The cries that were coming out of her, it's rough. But then, again, I didn't feel bad when Lori Vallow was listening to that. I didn't feel bad when Letitia Stalk was listening to that. So I understand all of the things. I understand, the people that say, well, she should have to listen to it. Well, fine. She did. And
Just shut their stupid mouths.
And it ruined her. So, and not once, but multiple times that it ruined her. So we have that. We have because of the medical facts in this case and how they came out, I don't think the Commonwealth realized in the moment how bad the facts were for them. They started to get pissy, for lack of a better word. They're throwing literal fits during the testimony, and it's just like, you had to have known that you know the facts of the case. There's no gotchas in law. You know the facts. You know all the evidence. You can't be mad that you maybe didn't anticipate that people were going to see the mental health failing this woman over and over and over again, I mean, maybe it's a Commonwealth issue. Maybe they're just too big for their britches. I don't know. I mean, they did the same thing to Karen Reed. They just had to prosecute her.
Oh, sorry. I forgot. I was muting my mic. Is this the same people as was in her trial?
I mean, it's the same. Yeah, it's
The same prosecution?
It's not the same prosecution.
Well, I know not the same person, but like the same place.
I believe so. There's the same experts.
Yeah, they don't have experts there, I don't think.
Well, not their experts. These are actually experts that are. The problem is they're not, and maybe the experts learned the first time, that it's not going to look good for them. But the prosecution is not able to bully the defense witnesses, or even, I mean, their witnesses. I don't know. I know they have to get the facts out, and maybe that's what they're doing. They're getting all the facts out. I know the state has rested. They have rested, and we did start the defense case in chief. I think there's going to be a lot more from the Commonwealth in rebuttal. Now, if they act anything like they've been acting the last 2 days, it's not going to go well for them. It's
Why are you yelling at him, Wyatt?
a very sad. It's very sad.
There was toy. I'm gonna beat your son for yelling at my son.
So not only now have we heard about this, a million times from the stand, we are now, I am on the, so I'm not on there's a lot of TikTok theories going on about Patrick.
That's because they're all jurors.
If you watched this trial, you would know Patrick is not the one. I also think that people want this not to be true, and because Linsday had this mental break, and I think she did.
Hey, Josie, I'm here too.
Hey, Josie. I think she had this mental break, and I think that she, because that's what the evidence shows me. She went to a doctor's appointment. She followed through with getting Miralax and having supper and getting supper, brought. So somewhere between good mom, doctor's appointment, struggling with mental health, all the things, somewhere between that and what happened, she's had a mental break. She's had some sort of psychosis that caused what it caused. And I don't know if she came out of the psychosis and then said, okay, I can't live with what I've done, and then did what she did, or if, she came out of it at some other point. I'm not sure what, we haven't gotten any facts on that yet. But the facts that have been put in evidence by the experts say that is more than likely what happened.
I think it's backwards.
So one of the things that I don't like that is happening, that the prosecution is doing, Cora liked bows. She had bows in her hair. Hey, Joey. She had bows in her hair. She did all of the, that stuff, the things that the little girls do. The prosecution is wearing bows in their hair. You don't need to do that. You're not, it's not doing what you think it's doing, I guess, is what I need to say about it. It's not doing what you think it's doing. And then I think they feel like they've got these aha moments that are just not hitting the way that I think they're hitting. Yesterday was a rough one for me. Yesterday, watching the testimony, right? So not only are we in the defense's case in chief? But we've got expert witnesses that I am on the expert train. I think the experts are going to win this trial or lose this trial, depending on, what all comes out here in the weeks to come, right? So,
They're gonna lose.
so far, we've got expert testimony, and it's, how things stick out to you in a trial, and certain things do. I'm not remembering any big expert testimony from the Commonwealth. Do you know why I'm not remembering any big expert testimony? Because they had 400 people testify to the same thing.
Jumba just spit in my hair.
So because they threw every single thing at the wall, at the wall and watched it, not stick, I just don't think they know what to do. So one of the big doctors that I was waiting to hear from is Dr. Zizel. And he says that Linsday suffered from bipolar with postpartum psychosis. She had derealization, intrusive, unrelenting thoughts, and concerns that others could hear thoughts. And that's something, if you think about that, that's terrifying. If your thoughts are so loud and you can't control them and you think that other people can hear you.
Yeah, that's...
what must you think? Especially a nurse.
This is my best friend?
Yeah. Especially a nurse who is respected and well-liked, and she's suffering from this mental health, which has a stigma. Mental health has a stigma, no matter, it just does. She's suffering from this, and now her thoughts are so loud, she thinks other people can hear them, and it's terrifying her. This doctor says that she could not distinguish right from wrong on that day. She had no appreciation for the wrongfulness of her actions. He had reported that medications may have exacerbated her psychosis.
Okay, I'm getting a fucking Charlie. Sorry, I'm getting a Charlie horse.
And the voice that she heard and was a male voice. So
I'm so sorry.
Those things are terrifying. We also heard
Did they say
from
how long she was hearing voices for?
a while. This particular voice that was just that day, but the loud voices and stuff, those had been going on for a while.
Gotcha.
And it's not, and we think about intrusive thoughts. That's not what this is. Everybody has intrusive thoughts where, if you got a glass of water sitting next to you, you're like, oh, maybe I should throw that at my husband. Or, something like that. Something like that.
I would do it.
That's not this type of thought. That's not what this is. She was afraid to drive because she was afraid of what would happen if she drove. And that's something she voiced to her mother. And she had said
places.
What?
Who drove her places because
her mom did.
Yeah.
I can, Josie. I don't have anything up.
I'll ever discovered you.
Okay. No, that's fine. I pulled it up. I didn't have it up, but it's up now. So what she was hearing and what she had going on was, you're not driving. They're going to think you're a bad mom because you're not driving. You're not driving. Your kids are going to, I mean, you're a piece of shit because you're not driving. Why aren't you driving? But then she was scared to drive. So because, well, if you drive, you're just a piece of garbage. You're going to run into something. So it's just like, it's not the type of, intrusive thoughts that we're thinking or we think we have. It's something very different than that. And to top it off, she thinks that other people can hear. So it's scary. It's very scary. We had we'll get into this. Her husband testified for the prosecution because he had to. He would not speak to them beforehand because he thinks that Linsday suffered a psychosis.
I didn't know he wouldn't talk to her.
What?
I didn't know he wouldn't speak to the prosecution.
Nope. They wanted to. They wanted to like prep him, I guess, or go over his testimony, and he would not. Because at the end of the day, he doesn't believe this should have gone to trial. I think a lot of people are in that corner. They don't feel like this should have gotten to trial. I'm not on that bandwagon. I think we should be in a trial. I don't think it's with Linsday Clancy.
No.
So then we had Dr. LaPosada. Oh, I want to get to Dr. LaPosada because I really liked her testimony. But Patrick's mom also testified, which I was shocked that she did. But everybody in her life that knew her thinks that she had a mental break. She was begging. That's what the mom said. Clancy, Susan? I'm not sure. That may be wrong, but she said she was begging for help. She had lost so much weight. She wasn't. She said, "This isn't me. There's too many meds." She was trying. And they kept throwing meds at her, kept throwing meds at her, kept throwing meds at her, kept doing all of these things. And it's just like, at some point, somebody is responsible, but I don't think it's Linsday. So the prosecution knows, and we're in Boston, Massachusetts, right? Catholic, very Catholic. Even the judge has a Catholic name. And the prosecutor says, "You're Catholic?" She says, "Yes." "Don't you know that killing somebody is a mortal sin?" I was like, I found that question to be
wild because everybody was in an uproar after that.
Yeah, I found that question to be incredibly gross.
So did
Number one, what place does that have in this trial? None.
Yeah, none.
Before the defense could even object, the judge called them up to sidebar. I don't know what happened at sidebar. I imagine they moved for a mistrial. I imagined the judge reprimanded the prosecutor. I imagine a lot of things probably happened up there. I'm assuming the mistrial was denied. Well, it was. And then he asked the jury to strike it from their minds.
What did you say?
Okay, fine. Then Dr. LaPosada comes on. And they're talking about Lindsay's injuries. Now, Linsday has fractures of her spine. She's paralyzed. Because when she fell or jumped out the window, she hit the top of her head, and the impact transferred to her spine. I'm not a medical doctor. I'm not a forensic medical examiner. I don't know how that works. I imagine Dr. LaPosada does. So, the prosecutor, who is also not a medical examiner, is trying to catch her up, trying to see what she can get away with her. I think Dr. LaPosada is not stupid though. So she's talking about the fact that she probably had bruising on her head. But the fact that she didn't have, like, wasn't cut open or wasn't, is normal for this type of an injury. Doesn't make sense to me, but it doesn't have to. I'm not the expert. I mean, if she says that that's normal when you hit the top of your head. Now, if she said if you would have hit the back of your head or the sides or something like that, it would be very different. But the fact that she hit the top of her head is what caused that traveling of the impact.
Oh, during her fake suicide attempt?
Yeah. I mean, I don't understand that. Like
She did not fake it well. That girl can't walk now.
Yeah. Well, she failed because she died at the hospital once.
She did? I didn't know that either. I don't know.
She coded. So it's just come on, guys. Like, come on. You're not. The Commonwealth wants to argue certain things, and it's just like, you're not doing a good job. You're not doing a good job. And you're choosing the forensic examiner, who is an expert in this trial, giving expert testimony to argue with. Probably not. Probably no. I mean, probably just no. So we get past that, and the prosecution brings up another case, a manual strangulation case from another trial that Dr. Laposada testified in. They went through some of the case. Some of the facts in the case in that case are very different than the facts in this case. We're talking manual and using something. So, I mean, the prosecution did not do themselves any favors, because one of the biggest problems here is I feel like they're hiding something because they're not getting all the testimony out. And when I feel like you're hiding something, I feel like I can't trust you. Maybe that's why I don't remember a lot of the witnesses, because they said the same thing, and because I don't trust you. They try to make a comparison from one thing to the next, and they can't do it because it's not the same. And Dr. Laposada says it's just not the same. It's the facts of the case are different, and she goes into what those facts are and why they're different. We're not going to do that now. But the prosecution or the defense comes up and says, you can't compare them because they're different, essentially, something like that. And she's like, yes. So then this bitch gets back up and literally throws a fit in court. She stomps over to the evidence bags, grabs gloves, stomps back to the podium, flaps it on the table, puts her gloves on like I don't know what she took the exercise band out of the bag.
Why?
Because, okay, so Dr. Laposada was in it explaining why this doesn't work. Or why you can't compare the two was pressure all the time, and pressure that lets up and does, certain things. That's why there's a difference in the two. So we know that the exercise bands were tied because Patrick testified that he untied them. And they were talking about direct pressure. So she holds up this exercise band, like puts it in a circle and drops it. And she's like, it just falls. There's no pressure there. Or something. That's what she was trying to get across. Like if it matters. And she's like, the doctor who was on Zoom, she's like, well, I guess you can't see it. And the doctor's like, no, I seen what you did. And she's like, and it just fell apart, didn't it? And she's like, well, what you did, yes. And it's like, that was the way that came across to me. It was so distasteful and disgusting and not necessary. Because she had just testified as to why it was so different. I mean, they want to paint Linsday Clancy as this monster who stood there and did that, when in reality, she probably tied the bands and walked away. Not that listen, the facts of this case are horrible. They are horrible and terrible and incredibly sad. What is even more sad is that Linsday has to live in her own hell every day. She's never going to be okay from this. Nor should she be. The expert testified Linsday has 2 types of days. She has worse days, and then her really bad days and worse days. She's living in her own hell. I mean, I don't know. And they're dragging her through her own hell 400 times over. Now, a lot of people are going to, well, she should, you know. And I understand that thought process. But I'm coming from a place where this woman begged for help. This woman tried so hard to get help. Inpatient, outpatient, doctors. Meds are not working. Meds are making it worse. Throwing more meds at it. I just struggle with the way this case is being handled. I don't think it should.
They're making themselves look stupid as hell.
Yeah, they really are. They're making themselves just look a mess, and they are. They're a mess. Number one, I think they can't. Yeah, I think they can't get past the expert testimony and the evidence that is showing what actually happened. They can't get past it. And thank you, Nancy. Thank you, Frankie. And because they can't get past it, and because, I mean, honestly, the TikTok world has found this case. So much so that there was a lady today who was voir dired because she made a TikTok video.
She was what?
She was voir dired.
Oh.
Because she made a TikTok video of McLean Hospital. And she was a former employee at that hospital. And the misleading way that that prosecutor represented the hospital pissed her off. Because they wanted to make it seem like there's doctors and they've got all this, that, and this, that. Well, on the weekend, they don't. They have a skeleton crew. 1 doctor for 22 people. You're not getting a care team. You're not getting active treatment. They're checking on you to make sure you're still there, basically. So they misrepresented what it looked like, the prosecution did, and it made her mad. So she made this 10-minute TikTok about how misleading they were and what it actually was, and the prosecutor or the defense lawyer seen it.
Oh shit.
And they're not allowing her to testify, which I don't love. But they still voir dired her. Like, you never know what people are going to come across on you, what's going to happen.
Right.
So, but today, I mean, trial today was kind of a bust. They had the Zizell, the continuation of, and then they had the voir dire. They had a break, and then before lunch even, they decided that they had to adjourn for the day. So I don't know what that was about. It's not like they adjourned and kept court going. So who knows? But they are supposed to pick back up tomorrow. So
So the defense is still on right now? I thought
Yeah.
for sure they'd rest by now.
Yep, the defense is still going.
You think she'll testify?
I don't. I don't think so. I don't think she will. But I don't know. I'm sometimes surprised.
I want her to, but I don't think she will.
I don't think she will. Like, honestly, I think she would be okay with not with going to like she doesn't. Lindsay Clancy is not exactly worried about what's going to happen to her. She don't care. She is in such a no. She doesn't. She's in such a bad way. Like, it's sad. And I understand all the things. There needs to be justice for those babies. There needs to be justice also for the lack of care that Lindsay got. And not only in the sense of a civil lawsuit, I mean, that's what's happening. So it's just sad. It's sad all around. And the way that the prosecution is attacking the family is gross. Both of the sisters testified. One of them is a social worker. Allison,
Yeah.
I believe, is a social worker. Maybe it was only one sister. But regardless, they asked her if she had thought that Lindsay was a danger to herself or others. But led in with saying, you're a licensed social worker. You could lose your license if, you blah, blah, blah. And it's like, okay, well, great. You're attacking the sister now?
Right.
What gives you the right? Your defense or your attorney status doesn't give you the right to be garbage. Just like asking about the Catholic faith, pulling out that exercise band and doing what she did. It's like, your theatrics are not working. I don't know what she thinks they're doing, but they're not hitting like I think she thinks they are. So, I don't know. What do you think we're going to get as far as a jury goes? I mean, it's very, the case is not over. The defense still has witnesses. The prosecution, I know, will have a rebuttal. So there's still a lot more that could come out, and that probably will come out in trial. But there's not going to be any gotchas. There's not going to be any big announcements saying this or that. I mean, they're arguing what they're arguing. The defense is the defense. The prosecution is the prosecution. There is no gotchas here. So what do you guys think? What do you think? Are we going to see... it's not going to be not guilty. That's not the case. It's going to be guilty but not responsible, which is, I think, how they put it in Massachusetts. So guilty but not responsible.
That's what I think. She's going to get guilty, or not guilty by, I think she's going to get not guilty by mental disease or defect.
Right, and that's what it is. That guilty but not responsible, that's what that is. Or are we going to have a hung jury? I think in any other trial that I have watched, this case is most likely to be a hung jury, if I would have to, guess. But that doesn't happen very often. So, I mean, if they're seeing the case the way that we're seeing it, and, if things are the way that we're seeing it, if they're seeing it that way, if they're irritated with the prosecution because of what they're doing, I mean, we could see it's not going to be not guilty. They've stipulated to the facts of the case. It's going to be either guilty but not responsible, or a hung jury, or just flat out guilty. So there's 3 options for us, I guess. So what do you think we're going to see? Anybody have an opinion?
I think she's going to get found not guilty by mental disease or defect.
Right.
And as she should. And I'm not saying people should get and be able to just kill your kids. I'm saying that other people need to get in trouble for this.
Right.
And not, she needs help. Shut up, Okalee.
I think that too. I mean, I struggle with a lot of decisions that were made. If as a professional, if you hear somebody say, "I'm worried I'm going to harm my kids," you need to. Thank you, Ella. You need to do something in order to keep those kids safe. Now, was she being honest 100% of the time with her health care? Probably not. Because she was a nurse. She didn't want to lose her license. She didn't want her kids taken from her. But she got to a point where she said those words. I mean, that's it. That's enough. Something should have taken place. But because she didn't have a plan, I mean, okay, great. Wonderful. That can't be the end-all, be-all. That can't be what it is. Because she didn't have a plan until she did. And then nobody was there. So, I struggle with it. So tell me what you guys think. Tell me if, your thoughts are.
Tell me why the dog's fucking barking.
I don't know why the dog's barking. Aren't you with him?
Yep, and I don't know either.
I do. So that is, I mean, there's so much more to it, and when we get to talking, it just I'm sure I forgot a million things, but I am on the guilty but not responsible train. So far.
And I'm never on that train. I'm always like, you still did it, you crazy bitch. But I think that she needs help.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, we've watched other NGI plea cases, and
I'm like, you're an idiot.
Yeah. I have never bought into.
Or like, just because you're fucking crazy doesn't mean you can kill your kids.
Right. I have never.
I'm crazy too. You don't see me walking around killing people.
Yeah, I've never bought into the not guilty by reason of insanity. Never. Hey, Lauren. But if there ever was a case where it fit, I'm thinking it's this one. It's crazy. Literally crazy. So, just to summarize, the defense's expert testimony centered on establishing that Linsday Clancy suffered severe psychiatric episodes, postpartum psychosis compounded by bipolar disorder at the time that happened. The experts testified that she was unable to conform her behavior to the law or comprehend the wrongfulness of her acts in that moment, supporting arguments for non-criminal responsibility. Family testimony reinforces her baseline as a loving, attentive parent, and medical experts corroborated her mental health vulnerabilities. These combined testimonies form the core of the defense strategy to argue that Clancy, while responsible for her actions, did not possess full criminal intent or capacity due to her compromised mental state. And I think they are doing a bang-up job of that. Now, the prosecution, don't ask me what their goal is. I don't know. I have no idea. They're saying that she planned it, it was calculated, you know. They haven't proven that to me. Even a little bit. She did it, but no one's disputing that. So, like, I feel like if they were trying to go for a prosecution, it shouldn't have been the she did it prosecution. We know. This isn't a case of who done it. We know who done it. And they're not focusing hard enough on anything else. And the defense is focusing exactly where they need to focus. So, I don't know.
I think the defense is winning this one.
I mean, he's definitely...
He's not losing.
No. Well, and honestly...
He didn't even have to,
What?
He didn't even have to do anything to win.
No.
In my opinion.
No, he didn't. If we didn't have that stigma of the defense has to prove that she was insane, they shouldn't have had to put on defense at all, and it would have been the NGI. So, I don't know. I'm not. It'll be interesting to see where this goes, where testimony goes, where, you know, if the prosecution does anything more, if they learn from their mistakes, if they're watching social media at all, they'll tone the theatrics down and start trying the case and not whatever you call they're doing. So, I don't know. Oh, sorry, excuse me.
Permanently tired pigeon.
So I think with that, Sam, do you have anything to add?
If you have an opinion and you don't like ours, keep it to yourself.
If you have an opinion.
Rachel likes opinions. I will argue until I can't breathe. So.
All right.
And I'm not fun to argue with. Just ask her.
No, she's not.
My only goal is to make you so fucking mad by the end of it. I don't care if you agree with me or not. Never did.
So,
welcome to our chat.
All right, with that, I'm going to call it a night, and we will see you again. Thank you, everybody.
From a single trace of evidence found within the silent remnants, building narratives from testimony, searching for that one true clarity. Every exhibit admissible and weighed for the foundation of the case we've made. We bridge the gap with studied elegance. This is evidence and elegance.